welcome to Lakshman Educational Videos. If you have not subscribed until now, please subscribe to this channel because I am uploading videos on second PUC biology. So dear students, in the previous class we have discussed until seasonal breeders as well as continuous breeders. Today is the last session of this reproduction in organisms. We will complete the whole chapter in today's video. Now coming to the events of sexual reproduction, three events takes place in the sexually reproducing organisms. The first event is the pre-fertilization event, the second event is fertilization, and the third event is post-fertilization event. So the first event is pre-fertilization event. In this pre-fertilization event, it is the event that takes place before fertilization or fusion of gametes. So before the fusion of gametes, if any event takes place, that is called as pre-fertilization event. There are two stages that takes place in the pre-fertilization. The first one is called as gametogenesis, that means formation of gametes, and also transfer of gametes. The second event is transfer of gametes. These are the two sub events takes place in the pre-fertilization changes. So coming to the gametogenesis, as I earlier told that gametogenesis means it is the formation of gametes, that is male as well as the female gametes. If we take the types of gametes, there are two types of gametes. One is called as homogametes and another one is called as heterogametes. Homogamete is also known as isogametes. Heterogametes is also known as anisogametes. So now coming to the what is the meaning of homogametes as well as heterogametes. Homogametes means if the male and female gametes are morphologically similar. So that means both of them, if you see morphologically, so they are exactly same to each other. So this is called as what? Homogametes. It is also called as isogametes. Coming to the heterogametes, if male and female gametes are morphologically dissimilar, they are not exactly similar to each other. Male and female gametes are different morphologically. So this is called as what? Heterogametes. So the examples for homogametes are certain lower organisms. Example they have given in your textbook, that is gametes of Cladophora. And example for the heterogametes is, that is gametes in human beings, that is sperm and ovum in human beings. Coming to sexuality in organisms, we classify the organisms into two types. So bisexual as well as the unisexual. So bisexual, we call it as monoecious as well as homothalic in case of plants and certain fungi. And another type is the unisexual or dioecious, or it is also called as heterothalic. So now let us discuss what is the meaning of bisexual or monoecious. If the male and female reproductive structures are present in the same plants or thallus, that is called as the monoecious or homothalic. If both male as well as the female reproductive structures are present in the same thallus or same plant body, that is called as homothalic or monoecious or bisexual. So examples, the plant examples for this is coconut as well as the cucurbita. Whereas unisexual or dioecious or heterothalic means if the male and female reproductive structures are present in the different plant or different thallus. That is, a plant can have either male or the female reproductive, either one, that means only one reproductive structure it should have. So they are called as unisexual or dioecious or heterothalic. So coming to the plants examples for unisexual or the dioecious, date palm and papaya. They have given two examples, that is date palm as well as the papaya for the unisexual or dioecious. So the plant flowers are classified into two types. Some flowers are we classify as staminate flowers, and some of the flowers we classify it as pistillate flowers. What is the meaning of staminate flowers? As the name indicates, staminate flowers are the flowers which has only stamens, that is the male reproductive structures. That means the flowers having only stamens or male reproductive structures are called as staminate flowers. What is the meaning of pistillate flowers? If the flowers is having only pistil or carpel, we call it as carpel also. So they are called as what? Pistillate flowers. Stamens are considered as the male reproductive structure, whereas the carpel as well as the pistil is considered as the female reproductive structure. So here we can classify the flowers into two types, staminate flowers as well as the pistillate flowers based on the sex. Now coming to the animals. Animals are classified into two types. Some of the animals are the unisexual animals and some of the animals are bisexual animals. Bisexual animals are also called as hermaphrodites. This is very important. This will be asked in your examination. What are hermaphrodites? Hermaphrodites means they are bisexual. That means if any animal having both male and female reproductive structures in the same body, a body has both male and female reproductive structures, they are called as the hermaphrodites or the bisexual animals. The examples for the hermaphrodites or bisexual animals are earthworm, sponge, tapeworm as well as the leech. Coming to the unisexual animals, unisexual means the animal having only one sex, either male or female reproductive structure. They are called as unisexual animals. The example for the unisexual is the human beings, cockroach, as well as different types of vertebrates. Coming to the gamete transfer. For the purpose of fertilization, both male and female gametes should come close together. So either male or female, so they have to come close together. This coming close together, both male and female gametes, this is called as what? Gamete transfer. In most of the organisms, male gametes are motile, whereas the female gametes are stationary. In case of some fungi as well as algae, both the male gametes and female gametes are motile. In algae, bryophytes as well as the pteridophytes, the gamete transfer takes place through the water medium. In case of seed plants, so in case of plants, as we know that the pollen grain carries the male gametes, whereas the ovule carries the female gametes. So both ovule as well as the pollen grains should come close together. How they come close together? By the process of pollination. By pollination, pollen grains are transferred from the anther to the stigma. In stigma, the pollen grain germinates and it forms pollen tube. Through the pollen tube, it enters, the male gametes enters into the ovule. Whereas in case of some unisexual animals as well as the dioecious animals, they have evolved some specialized structure, specialized mechanism for the transfer of the male gametes as well as the female gametes. After the pre-fertilization event, we can see fertilization or syngamy. What is syngamy or fertilization? It is the process of fusion of haploid male gamete as well as the haploid female gamete to form diploid zygote. This is called as the fertilization, or it is also called as syngamy. In fertilization, we can see two types. One is called as external fertilization and another one is called as internal fertilization. So what is external fertilization and what is internal fertilization? If it is external fertilization means it is the process of fusion of male and female gametes outside the body of the parent, that is in the surrounding medium, where most of the surrounding medium is water. This is called as what? External fertilization. In case of internal fertilization, it is the process of fusion of male and female gametes within the body of the female parent. This is called as what? Internal fertilization. So now coming to the difference between external as well as internal fertilization. In external fertilization, both male and female gametes are produced in more number. In case of internal fertilization, male gametes are produced in more number whereas the female gametes are less. We come to the another difference. In case of external fertilization, offsprings are vulnerable to predators. So predators can eat the eggs as well as the progenies. In case of the internal fertilization, the young ones or the offsprings are highly protected. So they can survive. And giving example for the external as well as internal fertilization, the examples for external fertilization are fishes as well as amphibians like or frogs. In case of the external fertilization, we can see the reptiles, we can see the birds as well as the human beings, that is mammals. Coming to the parthenogenesis. So what is the meaning of parthenogenesis? The process of development of a female gamete into new organism without fertilization. So without fertilization, some female gametes, they develop into new organisms. The examples for the parthenogenesis is honeybees, rotifers, some lizards as well as some birds like turkey birds. These are the examples for parthenogenesis. So now coming to the post-fertilization events. The events that takes place after the fertilization, that means after the formation of zygote, that is called as post-fertilization event. So as we know that zygote is the first cell of the organism. So the zygote has to divide to give more number of cells. So now coming in the post-fertilization event, the very important event is the embryogenesis. So what is the meaning of embryogenesis? The embryogenesis means it is the process of development of embryo from zygote. So the process of development of an embryo from zygote is called as embryogenesis. So embryogenesis takes place in two steps. The first step is called as cell division and the second step is called as cell differentiation. What is cell division? Cell division means there is division of cells. That means there will be more number of cells. There will be increased in the number of cells. So the number of cells will be increased in cell division. What is cell differentiation? Here the group of cells undergo modification to form specialized tissues as well as the organs to perform particular function. Coming to the types of animals based on the development of the zygote, the animals are classified into two types. One is oviparous animals and another one is viviparous animals. What is the meaning of oviparous animals and what is the meaning of viviparous animals? Oviparous animals are the animals which lay eggs. Egg-laying animals are called as what? Oviparous. Whereas the animals which give birth to young ones, they give birth to young ones. The animals which give birth to young ones or new organism or young ones, they are called as what? Viviparous animals. So now coming to the difference between oviparous and viviparous, they are the egg-laying, they are the animals which give birth to young ones. So here the eggs are covered by a hard calcareous shell. So it is having a hard shell which is made up of the calcium. In case of viviparous, here they are not covered by any layers or any hard coverings. In case of oviparous, the chances of survival is very less because they are not protected. They are present in the surrounding environment. Some of the predators can come and eat. Whereas in case of the viviparous, the chances of survival is more because they have a proper embryonic care as well as the protection in case of viviparous animals. The examples for viviparous animals are the reptiles as well as birds. They lay eggs, whereas the Examples for viviparous animals comes under the mammals, human beings, as well as different types of mammals. They are the examples for the viviparous animals. Coming to the last concept of this chapter, that is post-fertilization changes that takes place in the flower. In a flower, after the fertilization, what happens? So sepals, petals as well as the stamens, they fall off, they wither off. The zygote, as we earlier told, that it develops into an embryo. The ovule part, it develops into seed, which includes the embryo. The ovary develops into fruit, as you know. The wall of the ovary, it develops into a hard covering, protective covering called as the pericarp. So after the maturation, seed maturation, the seed undergoes dispersal. On having a favorable environment, these seeds are germinated. So until now we have discussed the whole chapter of the reproduction in organisms. So I hope all of you have understood very well. We have discussed most of the concepts in this reproduction organisms, which comes for 5 marks in your